UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Thursday fired the country's ambassador to the United States, Peter Mandelson, over his links to the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. According to Associated Press in a statement in the House of Commons on Thursday, Foreign Office Minister Stephen Doughty said the decision came in the wake of the publication this week of emails Mandelson sent to Epstein in the 2000s, in which he gave his support to the disgraced financier even when he was facing jail for sex offenses. Doughty said the emails showed that the depth and extent of Mandelson's relationship with Epstein was materially different from what was known when he was appointed ambassador to Washington last year in the wake of the Labour Party's election victory. Mandelson, who took up his post in February this year after what the government described as an extensive vetting process, has voiced his deep regret over his previous links with Epstein and said he knew nothing about his criminal activities. In light of the additional information in the emails written by Peter Mandelson, the Prime Minister has asked the Foreign Secretary to withdraw him as ambassador to the United States, Doughty said. In particular, he pointed to Mandelson's suggestion that Epstein's first conviction in 2008 was wrongful and should be challenged. On Wednesday, the Sun newspaper published emails that it said showed Mandelson telling Epstein to fight for early release shortly before he was sentenced to 18 months in prison. "I think the world of you," Mandelson told him before he began his sentence for soliciting prostitution from a minor. The decision to fire Mandelson comes just a day after Starmer said he had confidence in him. It's the latest blow to the Prime Minister ahead of a state visit by US President Donald Trump to the UK next week, which is likely to be met with protests and some controversy. Last week Starmer also saw his deputy, Angela Rayner, quit over a tax error on a home purchase. The government said James Roscoe, the UK deputy head of mission in Washington, will serve as interim ambassador and oversee Trump's state visit. Roscoe is a career diplomat and former communications chief to the late Queen Elizabeth II. Starmer's judgment is being increasingly questioned, particularly over his appointment of Mandelson, who is no stranger to controversy, having twice resigned from former Prime Minister Tony Blair's government in 1998 and 2001.
Thank you very much indeed in hosting us this morning. And thank you very much indeed also for that very typical 11th hour intervention by you with your phone call to the President, demanding even more out of this deal than any of us expected. So thank you for that.
In June 2009, did you stay at the apartment in Manhattan of Jeffrey Epstein?
I'm not answering any questions about him.
He was in jail at the time for soliciting prostitution from a minor.
And my knowledge of him is something that I regret. I wish I'd never met him in the first place.
Why did you have an association with him? Because he was in jail at the time.
Why did many people meet him? He was a prolific networker, and I wish I'd never met him in the first place.
I'm a new Labour man to my core. What I want to do in Europe is to create an efficient social democratic way of thinking and working in Europe for the benefit of the British people and all European citizens.
It will give predictability, it will give certainty for traders.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. The issue for us in China, which is a very big issue indeed,
right at the top of our list of concerns is not so much the existence of legislation as its enforcement.
Tolerating intellectual property theft is a dead end for China.
Official service today. Michael and myself are available.
Hello. How are you feeling, Mr. Mandelson?
Come back in. That's enough from you, Jamie. Thank you very much. Well, I very much enjoyed my work in Europe and working on trade and development issues. The Prime Minister has asked me to come back. Our economy, like every other, is facing a very hard challenge as a result of the global financial crisis, and in a sense it's all hands on deck. The answer to the needs of the poorest developing countries and developing countries as a whole
In a lengthy video statement released on social media late Thursday by the White House, U.S. President Donald Trump blamed rhetoric from the radical left for Kirk's assassination and said demonizing opponents must stop now. According to Associated Press speaking from his desk in the Oval Office, Trump pledged to find everyone who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including organizations that he said funds and supports it. He called Kirk a political supporter and ally, martyr for truth and freedom, and said, "There has never been anyone who was so respected by youth." For years those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals, Trump said, speaking into a camera from his desk in the Oval Office. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others. Radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.